What if the very light you rely on, the colors that define your world, began to betray you, dissolving into a perpetual twilight, and you didn't even notice until it was too late? Have you ever truly considered the silent war being waged within your own body, a conflict you are losing with every passing moment of ignorance? There is a subtle erosion, an insidious decay that targets the fundamental architecture of your being, chipping away at the very senses that connect you to reality, weakening the fortresses that guard your inner sanctum. This slow, almost imperceptible decline isn't an act of fate, it's a consequence, a vulnerability you inadvertently cultivate, leaving the gates wide open for unseen invaders. The modern world, with its veiled threats and depleted sustenance, constantly conspires against your innate vitality, pulling you further into a state of compromised existence where your resilience dwindles and your defenses falter. This is not a distant possibility, but a present danger, a creeping shadow that expands with every moment you remain unaware, every choice you make to overlook the simple, potent safeguards nature has provided. The cost of this oversight is profound, not merely a minor inconvenience, but a gradual surrendering of your fundamental health, your perceptual clarity, and your very capacity to resist the relentless onslaught of environmental and cellular degradation. This pervasive danger doesn't announce itself with a trumpet blast, it seeps into your core, unseen, unheard, dismantling from within, leaving you increasingly exposed and diminished. The true horror lies in its quiet inevitability, in the way it redefines your reality one faded hue, one compromised cell, one weakened defense at a time, until the world you once perceived vividly becomes a muted, perilous landscape. Consider, for a terrifying moment, the slow descent into visual oblivion, not the sudden shock of blindness, but the insidious dimming, the blurring at the edges, the gradual dissolution of detail that marks the creeping tyranny of a world unseen. This isn't just about reading small print, it's about the very capacity to navigate a treacherous world, to discern a threat before it strikes, to perceive the nuances that spell safety or danger. Your vision, a delicate and intricate marvel, is under constant assault from ambient light, screens, and the relentless march of time, each contributing to a cumulative damage that threatens to plunge your world into a permanent dusk. Without the vigilant intervention of specific molecular sentinels, the photoreceptor cells in your retina, the very conduits of light, become vulnerable, their crucial pigments depleted, their architecture destabilized. Beta-carotene, a vibrant precursor, transforms within your system into vitamin A, the fundamental building block of rhodopsin, the light-sensitive protein that captures every flicker, every shadow, every vibrant color. A deficiency here isn't just a minor visual impairment, it's a terrifying erosion of your connection to the visible spectrum, a gradual retreat into a realm of indistinct shapes and faded forms, where the once sharp edges of reality soften into a perilous ambiguity. Imagine stumbling through an ever-darkening corridor, unable to distinguish friend from foe, obstacle from open path, your greatest tool for environmental awareness slowly failing you, leaving you perpetually vulnerable to the unseen dangers lurking just beyond the threshold of your perception. The consequence is not merely inconvenience, but a profound sense of disengagement, a loss of the clarity that empowers you to engage with the world, leaving you exposed and compromised, a silent casualty in the ongoing battle for sensory integrity. Beyond the fading canvas of your sight, a more insidious threat targets your outermost frontier, your skin, the very shield that protects your internal sanctum from the relentless barrage of external malevolence. This isn't merely about superficial aesthetics, it's about the integrity of your primary defense, the barrier that stands between the delicate sanctity of your inner workings and the corrosive forces of the environment. Every day, your skin endures a ceaseless bombardment from ultraviolet radiation, pollutants, and unseen micro-invaders, each attack inflicting molecular damage, tearing at the very fabric of its protective layers. Without a robust arsenal of antioxidants, your skin cells are left undefended, vulnerable to oxidative stress that rips through their membranes, compromises their structure, and accelerates their decay, leaving behind a weakened, permeable surface. This cellular vandalism manifests not just as dryness or wrinkles, but as a compromised barrier, an open invitation for pathogens to infiltrate, for toxins to seep inward, for the vital moisture of your being to evaporate into the unforgiving air. The very historical record echoes this vital truth, with carrots initially cultivated not just for food, but for their potent medicinal properties. In fact, carrots were originally purple, yellow, or white before selective breeding in the Netherlands created the familiar orange variety in the 17th century, a testament to humanity's ancient quest to harness nature's defensive power. Neglecting this crucial shield means accepting a perpetual state of vulnerability, a constant exposure to a world teeming with unseen threats, allowing the slow, creeping degradation of your external armor to pave the way for deeper, more terrifying internal compromises. The relentless assault transforms your skin from an impenetrable fortress into a fragile, breached wall, leaving your core exposed to the silent, persistent siege that gnaws at your very being. The unseen war rages deeper still, a silent insurgency within your very bloodstream, where your immune system, the ultimate internal defense network, grapples with a ceaseless tide of pathogens and rogue cells. Without adequate fortification, this intricate security apparatus begins to falter, its sentinel cells losing their vigilance, its command centers weakening, leaving your body an open host for opportunistic invaders and insidious internal betrayals. This isn't just about catching a cold, it's about a systemic breakdown, a loss of the very capacity to distinguish friend from foe, to mount a swift and decisive counterattack against threats that seek to unravel your biological integrity. Phytonutrients, those mysterious and potent compounds, are the unsung architects of cellular resilience, acting as vital intelligence agents and master builders in the ongoing process of cell regeneration. When these crucial elements are scarce, the delicate balance of renewal is disrupted, cells die faster than they can be replaced, damaged tissues languish unrepaired, and the very machinery of life begins to stutter, to falter, to inevitably break down. The very nomenclature of these defenses hints at their ancient power. The term beta-carotene comes from the Greek beta and Latin carota, carrot, highlighting its primary source, a linguistic echo of a deep, historical understanding of where true resilience lies. This critical deficiency doesn't just invite illness, it invites a profound internal vulnerability, a state where your body ceases to be a self-repairing marvel and instead becomes a slow-motion catastrophe, a house built on crumbling foundations, perpetually on the brink of collapse from within. The insidious truth is that without these vital elements, your own cells, battered and damaged, begin to turn against you, compromising the very foundations of your existence. The most insidious enemy, however, operates at a microscopic level, a constant, pervasive chemical warfare known as oxidative stress, where unstable molecules, free radicals, tear through your cellular structures like molecular shrapnel, causing irreparable damage. This isn't a single event but a perpetual, unseen assault, a slow-motion destruction that erodes your vitality from the inside out, accelerating aging and paving the way for chronic disease. Without powerful antioxidant countermeasures, your cells are left defenseless against this internal sabotage, their DNA fractured, their proteins denatured, their very function compromised, leading to a cascade of systemic failures that manifest as a slow, creeping decline in every aspect of your health. The true horror lies in the ubiquity of this threat, generated by everything from the air you breathe to the food you consume, an unavoidable byproduct of existence that demands an equally constant and potent defense. Here lies the critical distinction. Not all carrots are created equal in this molecular battle. Fresh garden carrots, those pulled directly from the earth, unblemished by long transport or processing, possess a significantly higher concentration of these life-saving phytonutrients. They are a potent, undiluted antidote, a raw, vibrant shield against the relentless molecular siege. In fact, carrots possess powerful antifungal properties, historically used in poultices against skin infections, demonstrating their active, combative role against invasive forces, not just a passive protective one. The insidious truth is that by neglecting these primal, potent sources, you are deliberately disarming your body, stripping it of its most formidable weapons against an enemy that never sleeps, allowing the silent, internal destruction to continue unchecked, transforming your robust self into a fragile, compromised vessel. This isn't just about nutrient intake, it's about marshalling a powerful, natural army against the invisible forces that seek to dismantle your very being. Picture a future, not distant and abstract, but a chillingly plausible culmination of this pervasive neglect, a world where humanity exists in a perpetual state of diminished capacity. A society shrouded in a metaphorical, perhaps even literal, twilight, where the vibrancy of perception has faded into a dull, muted blur. Faces etched with premature lines, skin dry and vulnerable, an army of compromised barriers easily breached by the next airborne menace. The immune system, once a formidable fortress, reduced to crumbling walls, leaving every individual susceptible to novel pathogens, commonplace infections escalating into life-threatening crises. Cells, unable to regenerate, succumb to the relentless oxidative assault, leaving a populace plagued by chronic fatigue, accelerated aging, and a pervasive, unshakable sense of malaise. The simple act of living becomes a constant struggle against an internal decay, a silent surrender to the unseen forces that have been allowed to fester, unchecked, for too long. You are not just sacrificing a nutrient, you are sacrificing your fundamental resilience, your capacity to thrive, to perceive, to resist the insidious creep of biological entropy. Imagine feeling your senses dull, your vitality wane, your body become a host to every passing ailment, all while the vibrant, potent antidote remains just out of reach, ignored. This isn't merely about health statistics or nutritional guidelines, it's about the very quality of your existence, the sharpness of your senses, the strength of your internal defenses against a world teeming with unseen threats. The choice is stark: succumb to the creeping erosion, or arm yourself with nature's potent, vibrant shield, the very root of resilience. So, when the world outside your window begins to blur, and the shadows within your own body lengthen, will you still ignore the silent scream of your cells for defense?